Okay, let's revise. Meanwhile, Shashwan joins. Let us revise the previous topic and let me know if my screen is visible. You can type yes in the chat box if it is visible.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So our discussion was about the identifiers. So we were discussing about Java identifiers, and there are 5 rules, and I mean there are 4 rules and one guidelines, right? So these are the rules. If you want to go and look at one by one, the rules are like this. The identifiers are not supposed to start with numbers and special characters, except these are the exceptional cases. Underscore symbol are allowed and the dollar symbol is also allowed. Right? However, the identifiers are not supposed to start with alphabets. Okay, so we are not supposed to start an identifier with alphabets, and there are some exceptional cases like symbols like underscore symbol and dollar symbol. We can start an identifier with underscore symbol and dollar symbol. Apart from that, numbers are not allowed. And the second thumb rule is like, there should not be any space given in an identifier. The name of the identifier should be complete. So Java will not accept any spaces. You cannot include a space in between an identifier. The whole, if you want to combine 3 to 4 words, you can use that words without giving any spaces. As simple as that. This is one of the typical example. The third example is, and the third guidelines is that minimum you can have the character length of about four letters or 4 characters, and maximum it should be limited between 15 characters. I mean between 4 to 15 characters. Minimum 4 characters and maximum you can keep it for 15 characters or 15 letters. That is highly recommended. It doesn't mean that you are not allowed to. You are going to get any kind of compilation errors. You are allowed to keep, but it is not recommended. That's why this particular point is falling under the guidelines. Not compulsory, but recommended. Right? And the fourth point that we are discussing about is what we must not use the reserved words as Java identifiers. These reserved words should be the reserved words, and you're not supposed to use these words for Java identifiers. So there are totally 51 keywords or reserved words in Java. These keywords are not supposed to use as identifiers. Right? And the last point is an identifier should not be any query languages like select, from, count. These are the keywords that you often see in the query languages, the database languages, or you can say that the other programming languages. Right? This will lead to the confusion and it is not recommended to use. And we have seen some examples, and so in our last class specifically we had a discussion about what I was saying that we are not supposed to, I mean we can use identifiers. Predefined classes are there. We can use predefined classes as identifiers, but it is not recommended. We will see what are the complications or what are the repercussions if we are using predefined classes as identifiers. Let us discuss about that. And also we were also discussing about 2 types of scopes, if you remember. One is a class level scope and the second one is a method level scopes. You can duplicate the identifiers in different scopes. This was the discussion in the last class. Let me take you through once again for the better understanding. It will not take much time, just bear with me. So in the previous class I was saying you can duplicate identifiers. Java ident You can duplicate Java identifiers in different scopes. Again, the question is what are the scopes, right? Very simple. We have class level scope. We have method level scope. We can also call this as a local scope. We already had a brief discussion on this. Let us recap it once again so that we can proceed with the further topics. If you want to define a simple Java programming language, simple Java code, if you want to define a simple Java code, a Java code must have a class. Okay? Don't worry about this class, don't worry about the methods. It is a kind of a simple Java structure I am talking about, a simple Java structure. For the time being, a simple Java structure should have a class, and there should be an identifier for this class. Let us take the identifier name as test. For example, in the college, we have students. Each and every student is identified with their names. Whereas in Java, we have classes. Each and every class is identified with the name. So in this case, I have taken the name as test. Right. This is the without class you cannot write any Java program. If you want to write anything, please ensure that all the data, information, behaviors should be included inside the class. As simple as that. Right? And let me take another method. Let me take a method. Method in the sense, in this case, I am taking void addition again. Don't worry about this method. So inside the class, you can have a method. So method is going to define the behavior, or it is going to define a functionality, or you can say that it is going to perform some calculations. Right? We have a class and we have a method. So all the methods, if you want to place any method, the method needs to be placed inside the class. As simple as that. Just just assume that. Just fix this as a thumb rule for the time being. For the method also, the method needs to be identified. So I have taken the name of the method as addition. This is the syntax for the method. Inside this, you can keep any logic. For the time being, I am not keeping any logic. The third thing is we need to have data. Data can be represented in the form of variables in Java. Data can be represented in the form of variables. Right? So you might be getting questions since you are beginners. Let me write a small essay about me in English. So if I want to introduce myself to someone who is taking an interview, I can say that what my name is. This is just an analogy for better understanding. My name is Balaji. Yep. Right. And I'm from Chennai. And introduction, I can include so many things. I have 5 years of experience in the software industry. So and I can keep including like blah 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 blah. So many things I can include, right? So if you see this here in this particular sentence, you can see so many things. So many things in the sense everything is in English. If you read this, you find the data as well as you find the information. You know what I mean? In this particular sentence, which is in English, anyone who can read English, they can clearly they can interpret some information, and they can also interpret some data, isn't it? You see the data that I have included here, like, even though everything is in English, I have included some data. Data is like name, right? Name is what? Balaji. Name is one such data. Balaji. And location I have included, right? Chennai. And I have also included something like software industry, 5 years of experience. software industry. Software industry. 1 minute, guys. 1 minute. Stay online. 1 minute. Okay, I'm back. So these are the information that I am specified while giving an interview. For an example, for an analogy, right? Just an analogy, right? So if I want to see this is the data, this is the data, this is the data, this is the data. But I cannot say this as data. I can say this as information. See, very simple. This part talks about the information because it is completely organized. Organized with complete English sentences. I have followed some grammatical rules and like with the help of my data, I have delivered my information. It is completely organized. But if I want to talk about this is going to talk about the data. It is not even organized. If I just say like Balajiam, Chennai, 5 software industry. Since even though I am revealing some data, but it is not even organized, right? The information will not be. It is not completely reachable to the other person, isn't it? My voice is clear now. Type yes in the chat box if my voice is clear. Confusion. My voice is clear now. Darshini, just one. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. So this is organized. So the things that are organized, we call it as what? Information. The organized things is called as what? Information. Literally it is called as information because I have used some data and I have followed some English grammatical rules and I have drafted some sentences. So my data is used to convey my message in the form of information. Right? This talks about the complete information, but if you want to if you want to tell only about the data, if you keep saying about your data won't be meaningful. Data is something that is not organized. Understand that? Data is not organized, whereas information is organized. Okay, sir, why are you saying about this data and information in the topic where we are actually discussing about identifiers? Right? So we are talking about the scope. In Java, if you want to represent either the data or the information, whatever it is, everything needs to be represented inside a class block. This is the class block. This is the class block. Everything has to be portrayed or everything has to be declared inside the class block. You cannot declare anything outside the class block. Firstly, right? Inside I have declared a method. So again inside the method I am going to have some information and outside the method I can have some information. For example, if you want to represent this particular Chennai, this is Chennai. This is Chennai. Chennai is what? Chennai is a location. Whose location? Balaji's location. Right? If you want to represent this data in the form of information inside the method or inside the class, how do I represent this? That's the question. Right? So I can able to represent this particular data in the form of information. So if I want to deliver it in English, I can simply say that I am from Chennai, complete information. Right? But if I want to represent this particular data in the Java language, right, I need to follow some standards. What are the standards? I'll tell you now. First of all, you need to use a data type. We'll discuss each and everything deeply, but to understand this locals and method level scope, this understanding is required. Data type. Secondly, we need what? Identifier and an assignment operator. Equal to operator. Equal to is an operator. It is going to act as an assignment operator, assigning some value to an identifier. Right? Then equal to operator, and we are going to have what? Value Now convert this. Just convert this. What is the value I want to include? Chennai, right? So the value is going to be, place this value in double quotations, just like this, Chennai, and a semicolon. Assign this value. Assign Chennai is going to get assigned to an identifier. You can use any identifier. What identifier I can use? Balaji location, or I can simply say location, or I can say my location. Anything, any meaningful name I can give. My location. So here I have included data type. So in Java, if you want to represent a sequence of characters, or if you want to represent a word, a word. So Chennai is nothing but a word, an English word. In Java, an English word can be stored or represent in the form of data type. So we usually use string data type. So this data type is string. I mean, this data type is talking about string. This is one typical example for location. So instead of saying that I am from Chennai is a completely English thing, right? English language thing. If I want to represent, if I want to convert this particular line, or if I want to represent this particular line in Java, this is how I can represent. As simple as that. This is how the information can be represented in where? In Java. Right? This is how the Java can understand. Okay, the particular programmer developer is trying to save some data. This is the data. This is how the data is. Making sense? So I have used this data inside a method called addition method. So the name of the method is addition. I mean, some inside the method block I have used. If I use this data, if the data is used inside the method block, it is called as the local scope. Usually call it as what? Local scope or local variables. Local scope or local variables. If the same data is used outside the method but inside the class, the same data is used outside the method and inside the class. What does it mean? So this is how it is. The same data is used outside the method but inside the class. This is called as, this scope is called as a class scope, or we can call it as a class level scope. Class level scope or class variables. The moment you place the data inside a method, it's called as local. Blindly you can see it as they are the local variables, or they are the local data, or they are occupied inside the local scope. If it is placed outside the method but inside the class, they are called as class level scope or class level variables. Right? What I was saying, I can duplicate identifier. So this is one identifier. You see, my location is an identifier. This is also an identifier. I can duplicate, because both the variables, or both the identifiers have occupied the different scopes. They are in the different scopes. So I can duplicate. That is what the conclusion. That's what I said. You can duplicate Java identifiers in different scope. Example. Example 2. For example, let us say that 5 years of experience. 5 is a number, right? Let us take this example. Let me write one more class. Class. Let me take the name of the class as test itself. Let me take a method like void subtraction. Any method can be anything, but the method should be placed always. The method should always be placed inside the class. You cannot have any method or any variable outside the class. Inside the you need to make you need to have a class. Inside the class, you need to have whatever it is methods. What the typical exam is like since you are students, you have classrooms, right? So the lecture can be delivered inside the classrooms, and if you want to have food, you can have food inside the classrooms. There are some, I mean, inside the classrooms, you can do certain things that are meant to be done inside the classrooms, right? It is not like okay, since you have classrooms, the lectures cannot be delivered outside the classroom, right? It will not make any sense. Likewise, in Java, the any business logic or any calculations can be placed inside the class. At the same time, any data can be placed inside the class. As simple as that. The question is where I am placing the data. If I am placing the data outside the method, it is called as class level. Inside the method, it is called as local scope and the class. Now my question is, if I want to represent this number 5 years as the form of information in Java, I can use like firstly I need to use the data type. So 5 is the number, right? All the words are represented in the form of string in Java, but all the numbers can be represented in the form of integer. int. Int means you are defining a number. As simple as that. Right? What kind of number is that? Let us go back. It is talking about my experience. So I can use identifier as experience equal to 5. You can ask me, so it should be 5 years, right? But in Java, either I can say the complete numeric type, or I can say the complete alphabetic type. If I want to say both numeric and as well as alphanumeric, I can use another set of data types that we will discuss in the future. For the time being, if you want to save only number, if you want to save a specific number, it can be saved by using int type. If you want to save a specific word, it can be saved by using string type. So if this experience is placed, I mean, if this data is placed outside the method, we call it as the class scope or the class level variable. If it is placed inside the method, it is called as a local variable. So this can be duplicated, I am saying. Experience, no issues. Both are carrying the same identifier, but no issues. This is possible. Which is not possible? This is not possible. This is not possible. You cannot duplicate an identifier within the same scope. This is not possible because both the identifiers are having the same names and they are sharing the same scope. Duplication is not possible. You will get error. But if it is sharing different scopes, this is possible. You will get to know about this, guys. For the time being, just understand duplicates are possible in different scopes, not in the same scopes. As simple as that. Simple conclusion I can give. Duplicates are possible for an identifier in Java if they are sharing different scopes. As simple as that. Okay. So these things we have discussed these things in our previous class, and so I just want to reiterate. That's the reason why I have taken this once again. Now there was a question in the last class that I have mentioned, and I also said that we will be discussing that in the next class. What is that question? 6th point. Totally, so far we have discussed 5 points. about identifiers. I mean, we will include this point also. This can be a seventh point. Sixth point, duplicates are possible, but they have to share different scopes. So this is going to be seventh point. Seventh point is Java. We are able to use all predefined class names and interfaces as identifiers. What does it mean exactly? I will explain you now. See, let me write a sentence in English. I can say that I hope this is going to make some sense. The sentence is like this. Balaji woke up at 7 a.m. He visited Lord Balaji temple at 9 a.m. He had breakfast at Balaji Bhavan at 10 a.m. Very interesting example. Balaji woke up at 7 a.m. He visited Lord Balaji temple at 9 a.m. He had breakfast at Balaji Bhavan at 10 a.m. Right? From this sentence, can't you able to say, this Balaji is representing a name. This Balaji is representing a name. This is representing a temple. Since I have defined as a temple, this is representing a temple. Temple in the sense, temple where Lord Balaji got. And this Balaji Bhavan representing an hotel. Right? Your mind is able to interpret the exact identifiers from this context. Right? So can we say that even though the names are duplicated, from this sentence, our mind is able to interpret what Balaji we are actually defining, isn't it? As simple as that. Because from the sentence, our brain is able to interpret this sentence, and it is able to assume that, okay, this Balaji is about a person, and this Balaji is about the Lord Balaji, and this Balaji is about the hotel. Right? Even though the names are duplicated, but we are able to differentiate, and we are able to decipher the exact meaning and decipher the exact noun that is occupied in this particular sentences. Right? Likewise, in Java, there are some predefined words, predefined class names. We will say that the predefined class names are like string is a predefined class name. String is a predefined class name. System is a predefined class name. Exception is a predefined class name. In buffer is a predefined class name. Predefined class name is, these are the names given by the Java people when they had started, when they just started developing Java program. This particular keywords, when this particular class names were predefined. I mean, it was given already by the Java people. It is, if you download Java packages, these particular classes are available to you by default, because these classes are already given by the Java people. We'll discuss about each and every class in the future classes, but just assume that these are the predefined classes. The names are already defined. Like Balaji is Lord Balaji. Lord Balaji is already there. I mean, he is already there. He is the first one who got the name, who is actually got the name of Balaji. After that only, these names has been, what we call it as, given to the many other industries, many other people according to their belief. Right? And we have array list, predefined names. We have runnable interface. This is predefined, callable interface. What Java says, you can also use these as identifiers, no issues. For example, if I want to represent any data like integer, this is meaningful, right? If I say integer, if I want to represent my salary, I can say integer salary equal to 10,000. If I want to represent a salary, integer salary equal to 10,000. This is meaningful. Salary is the identifier name. 10,000 is the value. Okay? But instead of the salary, they are saying that you can also use the predefined classes. Integer string equal to 10,000. I can use this also. Instead of salary, I can use this name, which is predefined, which is already declared in Java. I can use this, but Java will not throw any errors. But this will not be meaningful. At some cases, you will be using this. But I am telling you that there is an option for you to use the predefined classes names in the Java identifier. Right? Is there any restriction for anyone to not to use the Balaji name? There are no restrictions, right? That's the reason why the name Balaji has been what we call it as has become very popular, and in many services, in many places, in many locations, in many business entities, this name is being used, right? If there is any restrictions, you cannot see any kind of name like Balaji except for God. Like that's why Java has also said that okay, even though we have declared some names in the form of predefined classes, no worries, you can still use that, right? But what what we are going to get by using that? We are not going to get anything, but we have an option. We just have an option. You can use that. The compiler will not have any complaints. You will not get any issues, right? You can use like this. Integer system equal to 1,000. So if this 1,000 is representing a kind of piece. Right? This will be meaningful, but I can also use system is a predefined class name. I can predefined Java class name. I can use like this as well. There will be no issues, but it will be meaningless. We can use. We have an option to use, but it will be meaningless. So I can say that the Java developers have an option to use all the predefined classes or interfaces identifiers. Don't worry about these classes and interfaces. Everything will be discussed. Right? For now, you just think about the identifier. That's it. And just naming. We are just discussing about the naming conventions. So our knowledge should be when we should be focusing only on the identifiers. Don't focus on classes. We are just trying to understand how one can do the actual naming convention. How one can name any entity in Java. There will be no issues, and however, it is not really recommended. Let me show you some examples. Let us go and do something in online compiler. For the time being, you can use this. If you haven't downloaded Java, for the time being, you can use it. Just type Java online compiler in Google. Get a page like this. This is a typical Java program, very typical Java program. If you just click on run, the output will be executed. See, I said right, any Java program can be written inside the class. There should be mandatory class. Class is mandatory. Inside the class, you can have a method. Inside the method, you can have any logic. So this particular line, this line number 8, this line number 8 is a statement. System dot out dot println is just a statement It is going to print whatever you type in double quotations. Whatever the value that you pass here will be printed inside the function. For example, if I want to, and sir, how it is happening internally, we will discuss future topics. The time being, if you want to display something, for example, I am a Java developer. Run. I am a Java developer. Whatever you write here, how it will be displayed, we will discuss that in future. What is the system? What is this out? What is this println? What is the static, void, main? Everything will be discussed in detail, in a very depth manner. So we are understanding what is an identifier. That's it. Okay. So my question is, if integer a equal to, for example, integer salary equal to 10,000. If I want to print my salary, system dot out dot println. Here I am passing salary. I am using a system dot out dot println. Whatever I am passing here, that data will be printed. Here you are passing salary. What is the salary? If you see, this salary is nothing but it is a kind of information. It is holding a data. What data it is holding? What value it is holding? It is holding 10,000. 10,000. Some numerical value it is holding. Which is holding identifier. Salary is an identifier that is holding numerical value. Right? If I just access this salary, if I just use this salary inside the system.out.println, I'll be getting what? The actual value. For example, if I change value to 20,000, now the salary is holding what value? 20,000. So this will be printed. This will be printed. If I change that, whatever the value that I am assigning to this salary, this will be ordered. But our topic is on what? Identifier. What I have said, instead of the user defined, instead of this, you can also use the predefined identifiers. What are the predefined identifiers here? The string is a predefined identifier, right? I can use, instead of salary, I can use what? String. String is an identifier. This name has been already given to a particular class, predefined. But I want to still use that predefined identifier to identify a particular value. I can use that, no issues. There will be no errors. You have a privilege. You have the privilege of using what? You have a privilege to use the predefined classes as identifiers. But do you think it is highly recommended? It is not recommended, but you can utilize them. Another example, for example, if I want to display my name is what? Balaji. Balaji is the word, that's why double quotations. Why double quotations? I will let you know. If you want to represent any word, represent that word in double quotations and give a semicolon. Right? What is this word representing? A meaningful name can be what? My name. My identifier. This is of what type? String type. We will discuss about each and every type in detail. But this is not numerical. This is not numerical, right? This is a word, right? So word can be stored in the form of string data type. You will be needing to use this string. Let me remove this. String is a predefined class, right? String is a predefined class. Predefined class. My name. If I try to access my name, output is going to be Balaji. But what Java says, instead of using my name, you can use the string itself. You can use the same the predefined class as identifier. No issues. We'll be getting the output, but it is going to create some confusion. Right? You have an option, but that option is going to create some confusion. That's why it is not recommended. Okay? The question can be like this. Question can be like this. What is the output of the following program? The answer options can be compilation error, runtime error, third one Balaji, fourth one blank. The answer is Balaji. Very simple. Keep your knowledge limited to the identifier. We have just discussed about the seven rules and guidelines about a Java identifier, and this is the seventh one. Seventh one says please use the you can use the predefined classes as the identifiers. Just like this, this is one of the real-time analogy. Balaji Okobatsani visited Lord Balaji temple. See so many Balajis like that in Java. You have the privilege to use the existing predefined names, but that is not recommended. Right? So for seven categories or seven rules and regulations we have identified. This is the last one. This is the last one. Go through these rules and guidelines once again for the better understanding. This is the last one. I mean, you no need to stress much on this. Just try to understand. This is how a identifier can be defined in Java. And your questions might be on top of what is this class, what is this method, what is all these things, what is this structure, why one should follow this kind of typical structure in Java. That will be answered one by one in they are the future topics that will be answered one by one. No worries. Everything is going to be very easy. I will keep it very, very easy. Right? Shall we proceed? Let me know if you have any questions in the chat box. We'll proceed further. Are we good so far? Type S in the chat box if we are good. Waiting for your response. Okay. Let me save this. Okay, so again one more subtopic is there. The subtopic is called as what? Literals. Java literals. Very, very interesting topic. After this literals, we will discuss about the Java keywords. Let us understand the importance of literals. What do you mean by literals? Very simple. One line answer can be a very basic one line answer. Very, very basic one line answer. Literal is a constant that is assigned to a variable in Java. Is assigned to a variable in Java. Literal is a constant that is assigned to a variable inside the Java. Okay. Let us take some. So this is assume that this is a container. In this container, I have a set of unorganized data. When I say unorganized data, the data can be in the form of numerical values, numerical value data. That can be in the form of alphabetic, right? alphabetic sense. The college name. It can be in the form of floating point values, or it can be in the form of a single character. I can say that D. Four data I have kept this four data in a bucket, or we can call it in a container. This data is unorganized. If I want to store this value in Java, if I want to represent this data in Java by using Java programming language, I need four things. We have discussed this already. Just now we have discussed this. What are the four things? First, most basic thing is what? The data type. Please ensure that what data you're trying to define or what data you're trying to represent. That is going to talk about what data type. And the identifier equal to value semicolon. Right? This is 100, right? So if I want to represent this in Java, I mean 1000 semicolon equal to 1000 is of numerical type. I can say that a number. We don't know what number is, just a number. It is of integer type. Integer means a number. Second value RMK. You have just defined the college name. It's in Kavaripet. It's one of the famous colleges. RMK. Since it is the name of the college, I can use the Identifiers college. And since it is a word, I should represent the word in Java in the form of string type, data type. Next one is floating value. So this is 102.60. It is not a complete numerical number. It has some decimal with some floating point values. We have a dot, right? So if you want to represent any floating point numbers in Java, you should use float data type. I can say that petrol price. Some random data. That's it. No, don't think cheap. I mean deep. 102.6. So it's the price of the petrol. So I have just used what? The identifier as petrol price. Since it is not representing only the number, it is representing the floating point number. That's why we have to use float. So the unorganized data is converted into the organized data. This is how we can represent this unorganized data in Java. Now our discussion is on top of Java literals. I will tell you what is a Java literal. The last value is what? D. We want to represent a single digit, right? Use single quotation. More than single digit, use double quotation. So it is char type, character data type, initial. See, very simple. I have just mapped unorganized data. This is how I map. This one, this two. This is how I have organized the data by using Java programming language. Any random data, if you want to specify that in Java language, this is how you specify. Right? If you take this, if you consider this, integer number equal to 1000, right? This 1000 is representing what? Literal. This value is called as what? We call these values as literal. The values that you have assigned to a particular identifier, we call all these values as literals. 1000 is a literal, RMK is a literal, 102.60 is a literal, D is a literal. Right? What about this? Number, college, petrol price, initial, identifiers. We can also call it as variables. I can say all these values are called as what? Literals. Not only literals, I can also use literals or values. This part, numbers, college, petrol price, initial, all these part we can call it as what? Identifiers or variables. Hope you're able to differentiate this. Identifiers we can call it as, or variables we can call it as literals or values. Both are same. You say value, value is also called as literals. Identifiers is also called as variables. Is equal to is an operator. This is a semicolon. I can say that int string float char. We can call this as data types. And number, college, petrol price, initial. What we call it as variables or identifiers. Equal to, we call it as operator or assignment operator. Assigning a value, you want to assign a particular value to a identifier, so that's why we call it as what? Assignment operator. The last one is this one we call it as terminator or special symbol. Semicolon we call it as. Making sense? So literals means nothing but 1000 RMK 102.60 D. I'm just giving giving the actual meanings. This is the representation. This is how we can represent in Java. So this is what its information. I'm talking about its actual naming conventions. We can call it as values or literals. In Java, there are 4 types of literal. Literal groups is classified into 4 types. Literal means I'm talking about this part. 1000 RMK. The values is called as literals, and again these values are classified into 4 types. Four types. What are they? Integral, floating point literals, third one Boolean literals, fourth one string literals. We'll complete this. We'll complete this each and every literals in detail tomorrow. After completing this, we'll start about the number system. Number system in Java. Number system like decimal number system, octal number system, binary, hexadecimal. If these topics are related to the bit manipulations, we will also discuss about how the memory is getting allocated in Java. So these are the basic fundamentals. Once we complete these discussions, it will become very easy for us to develop Java programming. Right? Let me save this.